Easy Explain, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman by Mary Wollstonecraft. An introduction. So we're going to start here with a background on Mary herself. So Mary Wollstonecraft was born in London, England in 1759, and she died there as well in 1719. This is actually due to complications from childbirth. And most people know who she was giving birth to. She herself went on to become a very well-known, famous writer. It's Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein. But very unfortunately, Mary Wollstonecraft was not around to see her daughter go on to do that. So Wollstonecraft, pretty well known, at least as far as early feminism goes. There are some scholars that will put the start of the first wave of feminism in the mid-1800s with Susan B. Anthony and her company. But otherwise, Vindication of the Rights of Woman, 1792, is a great place to start as well. Really, the big purpose of this book is to really start pushing principles of women's rights. This was really courageous for Wollstonecraft to be doing. It was a hot topic at the time, right? If we're looking at the late 1700s, early 1800s, a lot of revolutions going on. Human rights and the rights of man were a really big theme. And, obviously Wollstonecraft was putting her hat in the ring for the rights of woman, right, at the same time. And why was this courageous? Well, there's people even like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who Wollstonecraft was actually a fan of in regards to his political theory, right, his social construct, and his philosophy along those lines. But at the same time, in other works, Rousseau and other men like him were still maintaining that women were naturally inferior to men, and that their purpose was to serve men. So obviously, Wollstonecraft had a huge problem with this. So definitely an act of courage for her to go up against, so many people as dissenters. So in this book, there's a lot of ethical problems, but there's a few that she spends a little bit more time crafting and remarking on. That's modesty, as really she's saying it shouldn't just be a woman's virtue. There's also reputation sexuality, and how sexuality of women determines their reputation for the most part. And she has a lot to say on parenting and education, and how parenting should not only be predominantly the role of the woman, and how the same education should also be afforded to women as it is to men. This is a pretty big work. It's a pretty big book. There are 13 chapters throughout that Wollstonecraft organizes into. We're not going to look at all 13 individually. I do want to focus on some big themes that are throughout the chapters. The first one just being, what are her principles of women's rights in general, right? Some basics. Then looking at what Wollstonecraft has to say about character and environment. A note on this is she's very Lockean in this sense. She's really embracing the tradition of the empiricism of John Locke. She's not too far removed from him, being, late 1700s in England. And then looking at those ethical problems. Going to split that up into two parts, taking a deeper dive, a closer look at what she says about those. But to wrap up here, there is a passage from her dedication to this work that I think does a great job of summarizing and giving an outlook as to what we can expect as we go through the whole book. So Mary says, "Contending for the rights of woman, my main argument is built on this simple principle, that if she be not prepared by education, become the companion of man, she will stop the progress of knowledge and virtue. For truth must be common to all, or it will be inefficacious with respect to its influence on general practice." Big summative thought here. Looking ahead, her main mission is that women really need to be the equals to men in terms of education, in terms of knowledge, and how they're treated with virtues, the expectations of virtues. Because, if we're all going to move forward together as a society, we all need to be up at this level. We need to be on the same page here. So for now, I hope this helps.